Alright, so it's Joe here today. Just going to show you on my M5 Jetta. I bought this spoiler off of eBay, and it's a pre-painted spoiler to match my Jetta. And nothing too spectacular, but nonetheless it's something that will add a little bit of flair to your vehicle. If you notice that this spoiler is straight, it's perfectly straight. It is not curved at any point. And as you noticed, the trunk line does have a curve to it, so it's not perfectly straight or flat. A lot of times you won't even notice that on a car until you get ready to do something like this. So there's a couple steps and things that you need to do to be prepared to install one of these spoilers. First and foremost is you need some tape. Painter's tape is fine. You're not going to actually hold down the spoiler, but it's going to help you to align the spoiler where it needs to be mounted onto your vehicle. So you need that first and foremost. Some cloths, some alcohol. I actually have alcohol with wintergreen. I don't necessarily recommend that you use this per se, but I will follow this up with some mineral spirits before I apply the spoiler. So I'm going to use this as a first swipe to get a lot of the wax and any kind of grease or dirt off of the car, off the trunk lid here, before I begin mounting it after I take off the tape on the back side here of the spoiler. So first step will be to identify where you want to mount the spoiler and how you need to mount the spoiler. If you notice that the spoiler is pretty flexible, and you should be able to bend the spoiler to have it meet your needs. And it's very, they make these things this way because they know that it is somewhat of a universal application, but as you can see, it will bend and conform with the lines of your trunk. It just takes a little bit of time and patience. And so the very first step that you need to really do is identify where you will line this up. And since I have my oldest daughter working the camera, she's over here, I'm going to show you what I mean by this. Is that if you notice that if I line up this spoiler on the other end of the trunk, you notice that it actually comes out much further on this seam here. So it's actually beyond this edge. And the intention is not to be here, but because we have this curvature here in the trunk, then we have to account for that. So it's actually made to be on the edge, and we just need to be aware of that. And so when you're mounting your lip spoiler, you want to make sure that you start off with this edge and really just follow along and bend the spoiler to meet that curve. If the spoiler was painted properly, the paint that's on the spoiler is actual flex paint, so don't be worried about cracking the spoiler or doing anything like that. It should work just fine.